everyone, and I have cleared most of your queries which were there in the chat box. Let us quickly observe what we have seen into the last class. And as you can remember, the last lecture was completely based on exception handling. And I hope you remember the exception handling flow, the 5 keywords of exception handling, which is try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. We have seen all the examples with respect to, you can say, examples. Then we have also talked about whenever any exception is thrown, it is basically one object gets created and that object is caught into the catch block. Also, I have mentioned in case of try block, after the try block, you must have at least one catch block. You can have multiple catch blocks too. Apart from that, we have also seen you can write one generic exception by writing catch exception E. But the problem with generic exception is when you use generic exception, then whenever the exception occurs, it goes into the generic exception, a generalized exception, and which will waste, you can say, which will not give a proper message to the user. So we should always use some specific catch blocks, correct? Next is whenever we talk about exception, we have seen two categories, checked and unchecked. Whatever exceptions comes under runtime exception class as a subclasses, they all come under unchecked. And when you say unchecked exception, it means it is not compulsory to handle them at the time of application development. And what do you mean by checked exception? It is basically when you say that these exceptions are to be handled during the program development, then those are checked exception. How do you handle these checked exception? You have two options. One, use try and block, and second, you write a throws keyword. I've explained you why did we not write throws number format exception whenever you used parseInt, because it was coming under unchecked exception. But why it was compulsory to write throws interrupted exception when you use sleep, because it comes under the checked category. So I hope you have understood the identification of checked and unchecked. Apart from that, I have explained you throwable class के methods, get message, print message, get stack trace, print stack trace, and so on. Then we have seen what do you mean by user-defined exceptions. When you do not have any exception which is predefined, you want to define your own exception, you go for user-defined exception. So here we have followed few things, creating class, extend it with exception, and then you can create a custom message. That's what we have observed. Apart from that, I have also explained you few things with respect to creation of user-defined exception. Why do we go for extends exception? Because we can reuse the features of that. And that's why we have written a user-defined exception. Now, I had given you these two practice questions. All of you, I need few answers from your side. Are you guys now comfortable with the exception handling? Just I'm asking. Calling of functions which are predefined, and maybe I hope basics that we have seen, all the basics that we have seen, class, object, and so on. I hope you all are now comfortable with the generics, right? So if you all are comfortable with these topics, right, in that case, definitely you will understand the concept of collection in proper way, right? And as I've said, you have got a weekend, so please make sure you revise the things. That's how it is. So what is day 11 agenda? We will talk about collection framework. So today I will first explain you what is collection framework. In collection framework, there are some ready-made classes like ArrayList, you have linked list, you have something called as stack, you have vector. They all come under one category called as list category. Then you have set category. That means whenever we talk about collection framework, there are different categories and there is something called as map hierarchy. So whenever we talk about collection framework, we have these many things to understand, a queue hierarchy. So gradually we will see predefined classes, how to use these classes, how to go ahead into the collection framework. For today, we will majorly try to focus on the list hierarchy. That is what is today's agenda, mostly. So maybe vector we can start tomorrow, but let's see how much we can go for. So I'll just save this and topic called as collection framework. I'll just go ahead into the slides, right? So when you, I'll just check my internet speed. बस आ रहा है. I'll just check. Let it get stable. All right. So can you please let me know what problem you are facing? It's good speed. I'll just check. Thank you. So let us go ahead with the, I hope the voice is clear now. All right. Thank you. So let us go ahead with the topic which is called as collection framework. Now, whenever you say collection framework, it's a terminology. So let me first explain you few things and then we will switch to programs. Now, you all have heard about the concept which is called as a data structure, where you have seen something called as queue, some data structure that you have heard about. Can you please let me know into the chat box, everyone? You have stack, queue, linked list, trees, graphs, map, hash table, and so on. So what all these are? These are the different data structures that you have heard about you can say in C++ or C. Correct? Now, at that moment, you were trying to have those kind of data structure to be implemented. जैसे कि, for example, whenever I want to perform with a stack operations, right? So what are the basic stack operations? Something called as push and something called as pop, right? Next, when you have written a push function, so you might have written some void, you have written push, you have passed some data, and here you might have written a logic. When you want to return pop, तो आपने कुछ तो value return किया रहेगा, and maybe you have returned me some stack का top element and so on and so forth. So that means when you were using your programming, when you were writing or developing data structure programs, in that case, you might have used these functions, but these functions you have defined on your own. Do you all agree? Right. But Java gives you some ready-made classes which is related to data structure. Right? So, first of all, every value or a data which is stored in the data structure is called as element. So, what is a group of data? It is handled as a single unit. So, what is framework? Framework means library of reusable classes. So, for example, when you have a string class, it is one kind of a class which gives you some predefined methods. And when you talk about a framework, it means collection of reusable classes, right? Which are used to develop the application. So library of reusable data structure classes that is used to develop Java application is called as collection framework. So Java gives you some predefined data structure classes and they all are togetherly called as collection of what? Of reusable classes, and that collectively is called as collection framework. कुछ समझ में आया? So what is collection? Set of classes. And when you say framework, it is basically a reusable classes, a set of library of reusable classes. So the main purpose of data structure क्या था? जब आपने data structure पढ़ा था, so it was you were seeing we want to utilize the main memories properly. Here also is the same thing. Main purpose of collection framework is to manage the data in the RAM efficiently. Now let us consider the following example. Person has a birthday. Employee is a person. So that means you are reusing the features. So in Java, collection instances do not instance, rather they contain reference of instances. Now here you will talk more on wrapper classes, how do we go for, what is generics and so on. But before that, you can see if we want to use collection framework, we should import java.util package, right? So let's go to the documentation. Now I will use the documentation many times. Please keep your documentation open in front of you. Let's go to java.util package, right? And inside your java.util package, you have one interface called as collection. Please remember, there are two things. One, in java.util package, you have one interface called as collection. You have one class which is called as collections. So when you say collections, it is a class. And when you say collection, it is an interface. So in your Java programming, whenever you are talking about collection framework, you are actually talking about java.util interface called as collection. It is not collections. Are we okay? These are the two different things. So observe carefully and tell me, what is collection as far as Java documentation is concerned? Quickly tell me, what is collection over here? It is a generic interface. It's an interface. But can you see here there is something which is angular bracket. So what should be your answer? Ki ma'am, it is a generic interface. Now, the reason behind being this as generic interface is when I'm saying collection, I'm talking collection of elements into it. Now, can I say elements can be of anything? A collection of array elements, collection of stack elements, collection of linked list element, collection of queue elements, collection of tree element, or collection of set element. Do you all agree? Are they come under the category of data structure? Yes. Does Java know at the initial stage what type of collection the user is going to develop? No. And that's the reason Java have made this collection interface as generic. कुछ समझ में आया? Why this is made it as generic? The reason is at the initial stage, Java cannot create कि okay, you want to go for stack type of a collection, I'll give you a separate interface. You want to go for some specific set type of interface, then I'll give you a separate kind of an interface. No. Java is giving you one common interface, which is called as collection. Are we okay? Right. So it is generic interface. Next point. Please observe the documentation very carefully. And can you please tell me who is the super interface that you can see in case of collection? Who is the super interface? I hope you are able to see it is iterable. It is iterable. Iterable means you are basically having something called as generic super interface. It is again a generic interface, right? We will see why it is iterable, correct? Now, next point. Can you see here? There are sub interfaces. Something called as list, something called as queue, something called as set, and so on. Blocking queue, and so on. The most commonly used are list, dequeue, queue, and set. I'm just showing you the hierarchy, right? Check this out. Quickly tell me, what is list? What is list? It's a generic interface. What is double-ended queue? A generic interface. What is queue? A generic interface. What is set? It is a generic interface. Means, can I say, if I try to draw the hierarchy, is it looking something like this? Iterable is a super generic interface. Then comes the collection, which is also a generic interface. Then comes the list, queue, and set, maybe double-ended queue, maybe some sorted set, and so on. Are you able to understand the documentation under this diagram? This is called as collection interface hierarchy. Why they have made this as interface, I'll help you out to understand. But right now you can just remember this is called as collection interface hierarchy. So if it is asked, who is the supermost interface in the collection interface hierarchy, your answer should be iterable. And who is the super interface of all the collections in java.util? Answer should be collection. कुछ समझ में आया? कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? All right. Next point. If you can see once again, I'll just close all this because I've just wanted to let you know it's a generic interface. Gradually we will come to those points. Please check. Public interface collection extends iterable. Are you able to understand this much hierarchy? I don't think so there will be a problem in understanding this. Correct. Next, let's read it. The root interface in the collection hierarchy. Which is the root interface? The itself collection interface. It represents group of objects known as elements. And that's the reason E stands for elements. Correct? Now, some collections allow duplicate elements and others do not. Some collections are ordered and others are unordered. Right? So, if you are talking about, let us assume, I just want to store 10 elements, right? Then, which kind of data structure you will go for normally? Just a simple question. If I say I want to store 10 elements, then which kind of a data structure you will go for? I'll say array. Perfect. Good. Now, if I'm saying I want some kind of a situation in my application where whenever I enter the first element, it should come out first. First in, first out. Which type of a data structure that you will use for? First in, first out. Obviously, you will go for a queue. Right. And if I say last in, first out type of a requirement, then you will go for a stack. Perfect. Next, if I'm saying I want some data structure where I want insertion of nodes and deletion of nodes from both the ends, so you will go for a linked list, which may be a doubly linked list. Perfect. So can I say, based on the requirement, we decide which type of data structure that we should go for? Yes, of course. Similarly, when you say collection, inside the collection, you can see I have something called as list, double-ended queue, blocking queue, transfer queue, set, sorted set, and queue. Many more interfaces are there, but it is completely based on our requirement which type of collection we should use in our application. So how do we decide? It is based on some collections allow duplicate elements, some do not. Right now, I'm using the word some because you're not aware about the collection. Some are ordered, some are unordered. So according to our requirement, we decide which collection to go for. Are we okay? Have you understood up to this point? Correct. Next, please observe. We have seen interface collection. We have seen E is nothing but element type. The super interface is iterable. Sub interfaces are these many. Now, if you observe, it is saying all known implemented classes. Can you see here? Array DQ, array list, attribute list. Maybe you can have delay queue, enum set, hash set. Then you have stack, you have vector, you have a linked list, linked hash set, and priority queue, and so on. These all are implemented classes. These all are implemented classes. Correct? So, if you can see methods, can you see method add E? What does it mean? You can insert the collection, insert an element in the collection of any type element E. Do you agree? Yes or no? Right. Similarly, you can see add all, clear, contains, contain all, equals, hash code, iterator, is empty, size function, stream, to array, and so on. So can you observe these all methods are within the collection only? Yes or no? Perfect. Now, a most important question I'm asking you. Think logically and give me the answer. If I'm saying interface collection E, correct? And if I go to the method, let us say add method, can you please quickly tell me, add method will have the declaration part or the definition part? All right. Now. So 100% it will have a declaration. Those who have said definition, it means you have not revised the concept of interface. Interface only consists of method, declaration. Correct. Next, listen carefully. So I'm saying I have the iterable, I have collection. And if you can say add method, maybe I'm working with some add all method, some clear method, and so on. Observe, iterable, collection, and let us say I'm talking about list. Just assume, correct? Now, everyone, if you can see in the list, what is this list? It is again an interface. Means can I say this is interface, right? This is also interface. This is also interface. Do you all agree? Right. And as I'm saying, all these are inherited. Correct? Now tell me, can a list, listen to the question, can a list can use all the methods defined in the collection? Yes or no? Of course, yes. Perfect. So check it out. List is again a generic interface. I can add the element in the list. Are you able to understand? The super interfaces are collection and iterable? Yes. Check the methods. Can you see it is giving the same methods? Add something, add all, clear, contains, get, and so on. So all the methods are inherited from collection. All the methods are inherited from the iterable. Right? Now, let us observe list is having its implemented classes, something called as array list. I'll go ahead with array list first, right? Quickly tell me, what is array list? What is array list? Array list is a generic class. Perfect. When you say generic class, it means you can have any kind of a array list. Why Java have given you the class array list? The reason is you do not know कि user is going to create which kind of a array list. Whether the user is going to create an array list of integer, whether of float, whether of string, whether of character, whether of any type of object too. Java cannot give you a common class array list. Java allows you to have an array list of any type of data type. Correct? And that's the reason it has given you the data in the form of generic. Right? So here, everyone, I'll just write some point over here. The reason is I want everyone to understand the hierarchy. Till the time you will not understand the hierarchy, till that time you will not be able to work upon the generics part. So this was E, correct? This is collection is also generic. The list is also generic. Array list, quickly tell me, array list is having the super interface called as a list. Can I say this is nothing but class? Do you all agree? Yes or no? Perfect. If array list is a class, so can you please just tell me any class in Java is having its supermost class as object? Perfect. Good. Next, please observe. Can you see here it is a hierarchy. Array list having the superclass as abstract, superclass as abstract collection, superclass as object. Is it multi-level inheritance? Of course, yes. I'll just write it for your reference so that you can understand how the things are. All right. Means can I say, if I'm following this hierarchy, java.lang.object, java.util.abstraction, java.util.abstract collection. And if I try to draw the hierarchy, this is how it will look. Also, I'll draw here. Array list is having the superclass as this, right? So I'll just write it. Here, it is a class. Here, it is a class. Here, it is a class. And here, it is a class, right? Can one class extends more than one base classes? Nahi. And that's the reason. Are you now able to understand why Java have made all these things as interfaces? Because you know, ultimately when I'm saying I'm using a predefined class called as array list, linked list, queue, not a queue is a interface, stack, vector. In that case, you are going to know, you are 100% you are aware कि ये अगर मेरा क्लास है उसका मुझे ऑब्जेक्ट्स क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. अगर ये बेस एरे क्लास है, एरे लिस्ट क्लास है, तो उसका सुपर क्लास मेरा ऑब्जेक्ट होने वाला है. अगर मेरा सुपर क्लास ऑब्जेक्ट होने वाला है तो मैं इटरेबल कलेक्शन एंड लिस्ट के हायरार्की को एक्सटेंड नहीं कर सकती. दैट्स द रीजन जावा हैव गिवन यू ऑल दीज थिंग्स एज generic interfaces. Did you all get up to this point why Java have given all these comes under the category interfaces and why in this category as a class? Correct. Now tell me, in this scenario, if you are saying array list, can array list use the methods of the list interface? Can it use the methods of interface? Yes. Can it go over here? Yes. Can it go over here? Yes. And if you create the object of array list, will it have a methods from this list? Yes. From here? Yes. From here? Of course, yes. Have you understood up to this point? If you all have understood this much scenario, can you please quickly tell me add function का definition कौन से location पे किया गया रहेगा? Array list class के inside. Perfect. The reason is, if I'm saying array list implements list, okay, it just implements list. List extends collection. तो इसके सारी methods का definition actually कहाँ पे define किया गया रहेगा? Obviously, class के अंदर. Have you all understood up to this point? Everyone. If you understand one collection properly, then you will be able to use all the collections properly. एक कलेक्शन को समझाने में और समझने में टाइम जाता है. Rest all will go ahead on its own. Did you all understand up to this point? Perfect. Now observe, list was an interface. Correct? Let's go here. Can my list is having the other classes, maybe a linked list? Yes. Check it out. Linked list क्या है? Another class. Array list क्या था? Another class. Vector क्या है? Another class. Check this out. Stack क्या है? One more class. These four, that is array list, linked list, stack, and the vector, are they the implemented classes of list interface? Yes. So what I'll say array list, linked list, stack, and the vector. They all come under the list hierarchy, majorly used list hierarchy. कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? तो हम ये चारों देखेंगे. Okay? Now, I'll come to this list. We'll go for array list. Observe. Array list is a class which is generic class. What's the package name? Quickly tell me. What's the package name? It's java.util. So can I say whenever I will create the object of array list class, I have to import java.util. True. Perfect. Next point. Tell me, which is the superclass of array list? Guys, सिर्फ superclass कहा तो आपका आंसर आना चाहिए abstract list. Which is the supermost class of array list? It is nothing but object. Perfect. Next point. Please listen carefully. Here, all the implemented interfaces, iterable, clonable, serializable, collection, list, and random access. You will understand gradually all the interfaces, but at least are you able to understand array list is having iterable collection and list, and a few more interfaces, something called as serializable, clonable, and random access. Means can I say there are 3 more interfaces that array list is having? One, I'll just say one more and one more. One is serializable, I'll just copy from here. Serializable, clonable, random access. And can I say these all are interfaces? Right? And can I say here, if these are interfaces, ArrayList is having serializable as a super interface. ArrayList is having clonable as a super interface, right? Also, ArrayList is having a random access as super interface. Are you able to understand the hierarchy? Yes or no? So, how will I define it? I'll say class, listen carefully. Class ArrayList, right, extends abstract list, implements list, comma serializable, comma clonable, comma random access. Have you understood how I will define the class ArrayList? How it is defined in Java? Class ArrayList extends abstract list, implements list, serializable, clonable, random access. This is a direct, straightforward definition for class ArrayList, right? So, check it out. Are you able to understand this much part? Because list is having the super interface as collection and the iterable, that's why it is not mentioned in the definition. Because list के definition में रहेगा ना, extends collection and so on. Are we okay? Did you all understand up to this point? Perfect. Any questions so far? One hierarchy of any specific collection class, if you understand, you will be able to understand any specific point. Don't worry. All right. Shall we go ahead? All right. Let us go ahead then. Now, let's see. So we have seen collection framework. It's there in java.util. Collection framework encapsulates the algorithm. Programmers do not have to worry about the implementation. Framework is basically encourages the programmer to extend member of the collection. That means अगर मेरे पास ready-made class है, stack, queue, linked list, and so on, I will be able to work on a business logic. Now, for example, I'll give you one, you can say, example. Let us say I have to go for maintaining the student record, right? And I want to maintain it in the array list. Or maybe I want to maintain it into the stack. I'm just saying in the stack. So again, I want to perform update function, accept function, display function. Maybe I want to go for calculate marks function. I want to go for calculate average function. Maybe I want to display the grade function and many more. I want to have at least different functionalities, 10 to 12, into the student record. Okay. Now, if you can just observe in this scenario, if I have the student record and if I say I'm using the stack, then first of all, I'll say I'll create a student class. And you will define the functionalities, whatever you need. Maybe you say all these other functionalities. That is called as a business logic, correct? But apart from that, I'm saying ये सारी functionalities तो मैं define करती हूँ. But apart from that, you're saying I need to work with a stack. So can I say to maintain that stack, I need to first create a stack. Maybe I want to perform some push operation, maybe pop function, maybe I need to perform peek function, maybe I want to delete some element, maybe I want to add some element, and many more functions, correct? So can I say here I have to write the stack का complete coding also in this scenario? Right. It means पहले मैं stack बनाऊंगी, बाद में मैं ऐसा एक stack बनाऊंगी जो student का record accept भी करना चाहिए. That means, can I say, instead of me focusing on this particular logic, first I have to also focus on this logic? Yes, true. But suppose I'm saying you do not worry about this. I am giving you a ready-made API. I am giving you a ready-made class. So you do not have to worry about creation of a stack, pushing the element, pop the element, peek the element. Now everyone, please tell me, if you have a ready-made API, then will you use this one? Which option you will go for? Will you go for a ready-made one, or will you create still your own stack? Obviously, you will use ready-made. Why? Because it will save your development time. It will save your efforts. Correct? And more on, you will be able to focus on this specific functionality, which is called as a business logic. So now, have you understood why Java gives you these ready-made APIs? So that developers' time and efforts are reduced in creating unnecessarily similar writing of similar type of a code. Maybe creation of stack, creation of queue, array list, linked list, and so on. Have you understood what do you mean by ready-made API and ready-made classes? Correct. So did you understood the need? API is application program interface. API is application program interface. जितने भी आप मेथड्स कॉल करते हो वो सारे एक्चुअली एपीआईज है. आपने I'll give you another real time application. Suppose you have a Gmail account, correct? Okay. And suppose you have installed LinkedIn in your mobile, right? Or you have installed Instagram in your mobile, right? So does they ask you log in with existing Gmail account? Does they ask you for the same? कभी ऐसा देखा है आपने? Yes or no? With existing Gmail account, or maybe you sign up, whatever is your choice. Have you heard about this? Every day you do this, right? So what normally you prefer? You prefer the first option. Do you agree? You prefer the first option. Why it is so? It is because it is easy for you, right? And why they give you this option? Why LinkedIn will give you this option? Why Instagram will give you this option? It is because you have already been verified by the Gmail account. That means you are a validated person, correct? Unnecessarily, why LinkedIn will waste other users' time in again verifying the account? It's better what LinkedIn will do, that person will use or give a API call. Existing verification job is already done by Google or Gmail account. Why would I do the same functionality again and again? Rather, I will give an API call for authentication. That's it. This is called as API. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? What is API? Reusing the features developed by some other third party and calling those functions in your program. Why do we do so? Because I want to save the developer efforts and time. Is it fine? Everyone? Perfect. So I hope you all are now comfortable into this understanding. Generic class, generic interface, and other interfaces. Correct? Perfect. Gradually, when I'll explain methods of array list, when I explain the different functions to define within the array list, then you will understand the details about why they are again created as generic and why there are so many interfaces also. But before that, have you all understood the hierarchical part? Perfect. Good. So check it out. In the interface collection, set, list, sorted set, map also comes as a separate hierarchy. That means it is not there in java.util.collection. It is a separate hierarchy. So we will see all these in detail. Now, in your today's folder, I have put one diagram, which is collection framework overview. I'll zoom it out. Right now, you will not understand this diagram, but once we will complete the collection framework, this diagram is like a quick revision for you. But what exactly is there in the diagram? I'll help you out to understand. Please observe. First of all, it is having iterable. interface. IF indicates interface. The super interface is iterable, sub interface is collection. Do not look into it, you will not understand. This you will understand later on. I'll come to this diagram once again. Again, check. Collection is an interface. IF लिखा है. It is having the sub interface as list, sub interface as queue, sub interface as set, and so on. List is an interface. List is having array list, vector, linked list, and so on. Queue is having double-ended queue and the linked list. Set is having hash set, linked hash set, sorted set, and tree set. This complete thing is called as collection hierarchy. We will see all these classes with the help of examples. Apart from that, there is something called as a map hierarchy. In a map hierarchy, we have hash map, linked hash map, sorted map, and hash table. So this is called as a complete collection framework overview that I have given you in one single diagram, right? So we will focus on array list and linked list today and this complete hierarchy. Have you all understood how the hierarchy is and how we are going to proceed? All right. So collection is a root interface. Some methods are these. These are the other methods of collections. Next, let us talk about list. List is an interface in java.util.collection. It is an ordered collection. So array list, vector, stack, linked list implements the list interface. Generally, they are referred as list collection. So most commonly asked interview question to you all is, can you name some of the list interfaces? So answer should be array list, vector, stack, and the linked list. All these are referred as list collections. Did you all get everyone up to this point? Yes or no? Perfect. So list is a collection which is having these many defined classes, right? So array list, vector, stack, and the linked list, these all are predefined classes. When to go for a list? Because it can contain duplicate elements as well as multiple elements. Now listen carefully. List is a super interface. It is having implemented classes which are most commonly used are array list, vector, stack, and the linked list. When to go for a list? When I have duplicate elements and when I have multiple number of elements. In those scenarios, I'll go for a list hierarchy. Correct? Next, we can traverse in the list using iterator. I'll talk about iterator, don't worry. But at least have you understood what are the most commonly used list collections? One is array list, another is vector, stack, and the linked list. Correct? So we will see first array list. कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone? I'll first explain array list, then linked list, then stack, and then the vector. These are most commonly referred list collections. If you want, you can just check. List is an generic interface. Its implemented classes are array list, linked list, stack, and the vector. Its implemented classes. Quickly observe and tell me, what is linked list? What is linked list? It's a generic class. Perfect. What is stack? It's a generic class. What is vector? It is a generic class. Right? Good. Please observe. Linked list. Are you able to understand this much hierarchy? ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि लिस्ट के सारे इंप्लीमेंटेड क्लासेस रैंडम एक्सेस होने चाहिए या फिर क्लोनेबल होने चाहिए या सीरियलाइजेबल होने चाहिए. तो यहाँ पे सबसे पहला इंटरफेस है लिस्ट, बाद में आगे डीक्यू है, क्लोनेबल है, सीरियलाइजेबल है. स्टैक में एक्सटेंस वेक्टर है, उसके इम्प्लीमेंट इंटरफेसेस ये सारे हैं। वेक्टर एक्सटेंस एब्स्ट्रैक्ट लिस्ट है, यहाँ पे भी उसने 4 इंटरफेस को इम्प्लीमेंट किया है। आर यू एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द डेफिनेशन पार्ट, हाउ इट इज डिफाइंड, द हायरार्की? yes or no? Perfect. Shall we go ahead? Shall we go ahead? All right. So let us observe. Uh, so we will first go ahead with creation of array list. Correct. Before proceeding to the class array list, do you remember that day we have written a generic class, right? And if I'm creating demo D1 is equal to new demo, तो आप D1 को कौन सा ऑब्जेक्ट बोलते थे? What is D1? D1 is object of raw type. याद है कुछ? I hope I have used these words. हाँ, but you forgot. I think so. Right? ठीक है. So, demo D2. I'm passing here integer. And I'm saying is equal to new demo of type integer. Quickly tell me, in this scenario, my type parameter is considered as which data? As integer data. Now, do you remember also one more important point? Whenever with the class, I'm using this T, it indicates a type parameter. And when you go for a type parameter, in that case, this type parameter must be generic. Yes or no? Right. Can I write everywhere demo inside the bracket int D3 is equal to new demo inside the bracket int? Can I write like this? I cannot write like this. Why it is so? It is because you have to pass by reference. NP type. Is it NP type? No, that's why it's not allowed. Do you remember? Everyone? Correct. So we came to the concluding point that day that whenever we are having generics, always pass wrapper classes. याद है कुछ? Good. Let's go ahead with array list. Also, I'll just make some point over here. Suppose inside this class demo, I hope you remember we have used one set function where we have passed something like this. And maybe I have used a get method where we have returned type as T. Are you remembering these points? Perfect. Good. Now, just let me know if you are all are agreeing with me onto this point. What's the point? Listen. Can I say if I have passed T as a capital integer, means at this location, T will be considered as capital integer. Means can I say everywhere, wherever T is present, it will be considered as capital integer? Do you all agree with me? Perfect. So T will replace everywhere as integer. Correct. Good. Now, let us say I'm talking about a class array list. I'll just say class array list. E. I'll just write over here for your reference. Next, as you know, array list is a class having some methods. Correct? Suppose add E method hai, which is Boolean. I'll copy this and I'll paste it over here. Obviously, here I will have a definition for add inside the class array list. Correct. Now tell me, if I'm saying I have created array list, maybe AL is equal to new array list. Quickly tell me, my AL object will be of which type? Raw type. Perfect. And if I'm writing the statement, array list of integer is equal to maybe AL is equal to new array list of type integer. Can you tell me now my array list can hold which type of value? 100% integer. Can I say here E will be considered as integer? Yes. So now, if I'm saying AL dot add, I'm saying 10. Is it okay to go for 10 value? Yes. If I'm passing 10, for me, it's which type of a value? Int type of a value. It will be converted into reference type called as integer. This is P type that I've passed will be converted into NP type. P to NP conversion is done automatically. That's why it is called as auto boxing. So can I say here this 10 value will go in the add function where E is everywhere considered as integer. Everywhere. एक बार मैंने क्लास का ऑब्जेक्ट इंटीजर टाइप का बताया तो उसके सारे मेथड्स में जहां पे भी ई रहेगा will it be maintained as integer only? Of course, yes. But assume I'm writing al.add and I'm putting some ABCD. Will it work for us in this scenario? No, it will grow. It will say your array list is of type integer. So integer value is expected. You cannot pass a direct string value. अगर आपको string चाहिए तो आप array list वैसे type का बनाओ. Are you okay with this explanation? So have you at least came to the concluding point? Suppose I want to create array list of integer, I have to pass that integer. Someone want to create array list of string, that person will pass string. And did you now understood why Java have given you a generic class called as E? Ultimately, behind the scene, वो array list है. What is array list? It is nothing but a list of elements looking like an array. It is resizable. Okay, allowing you multiple values to be there in the list, allowing you to have duplicate elements into the list. कुछ समझ में आया? What is array list? It is just like a quick revision of your generic concept. ठीक है? I'll just save this. Array list. Correct. So, just observe. We have methods, add method. We will now try to work upon it. So in this code, I'll first create array list. Before proceeding, if I'm saying integer array is equal to new int of 5 elements, I'll say ARR of 0 is equal to 10. Maybe array of 1 is equal to 20. Array of 2 is equal to 30. Is equal to 40 and 50. I'll say for each integer element inside my array system.out.println, I want to print element. I'll execute. Anyone who is not able to understand this code, please post it into the chat box. समझ में आ रहा है कुछ at this moment? All right. So can I say here ARR is of which type? कौन से type का array है? Is an array of int type. Int type means primitive. Are we okay? Are we okay? Yes, definitely. Perfect. Now, let us go for, but आप मुझे बताइए, can you write a add method over here? Like arr.add. ऐसा कुछ है क्या? No. Why it is not allowed? Because your ARR is not of reference type. It is a primitive type. कभी भी किसी मेथड को कॉल करने के लिए लेफ्ट साइड में क्या लगता है? ऑब्जेक्ट नेम या क्लास नेम. तो ARR ऑब्जेक्ट है क्या? नहीं. It is just a type who is having primitive values. Have you understood why we cannot go for add function, remove function on this primitive type of a data. And that is the reason we have wrapper classes, because wrapper classes kaha, so data will be passed in the form of reference, and on reference I can give call to the methods. Are we okay? Are you now understanding in more detail the requirement of wrapper classes? And I've promised you at the time of collection framework, you will understand in more detail when we need wrapper classes, right? So I'm proving all the points which were kept pending for a few days. Correct. Also, I have promised at the time of interfaces, I will come to the points called as interface again, like random access, clonable, serializable, and so on. So could you see the terminologies? Yes, you will understand in more detail in today's session. Because some things you have to wait for it to grasp the content. Correct? Now, I'm creating an array list which is of type integer. Okay, before going ahead with integer, I'll just create al is equal to new array list. Is it there in java.lang? No, I have to import java.util. So can you see java.util.arraylist? Right. Immediately it is saying al is not being used. Okay, I'm using al.add, maybe 10. Can you observe? Add method. Is it static or non-static? Non-static. Do I need an object? Yes, I need an object. al.add, maybe 20. al.add, maybe 30. al.add, maybe 40. And I'll say al.add, maybe 50. Are we okay up to this point? Perfect. In this case, can you see it is giving me warning on array list? And it is saying it is of raw type. Right. So I'm saying here array list is of raw type. It is never recommended. It is not recommended to go for a raw type. The reason, at some point, I'll say I'll include some another string data. At some point, I'll say I will include some another data. At some point, I'll include some another data. Is it allowing me? Yes, it is allowing me. But every time it is giving me warning, type safety warning, and so on. If you want to print all the elements, you can say for each integer element inside the array list, system.out.println, let us try to print the element. Can you see everyone here? Is it giving me error in the integer? Yes, because I have three values as string, float, and double. Correct? All right. I'll just write, let us say object. Let us execute. Can you see everyone? So what has happened? Initially, object is considered as integer. Object is considered as integer. Integer, integer, integer. String, float, double. Actually, line number 17 पे क्या हो रहा है? Which process is taking place? Conversion of integer value in the object. Conversion of another integer value in object. Conversion of string to object. Float to object. Double to object. Object is which class? Superclass. String is which class? Subclass. Storing the object of subclass pointed by reference of superclass is called as upcasting. इसलिए तो हम रॉ टाइपिंग नहीं खोल रहे ना. रॉ अगर यूज किया टाइप तो फिर हर टाइम उसे कैसे पता चलेगा फॉर लूप में कि हर वैल्यू इंटीजर है? नो, दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव गिवन अ जनरलाइज्ड टर्म ऑब्जेक्ट. Let it come any object. I'm doing the upcasting and I'm printing the data. That's why it is not recommended. Is it okay? Have you understood why it is not recommended to go for a raw type? Perfect. ठीक. I'll go for some specific type. Let's create array list of type integer. New array list of type integer. I'll say al.add maybe 25, al.add maybe 30, al.add maybe 5. Any elements you would like to add. It's not like that you should have in sequence. Also, it is not like that you should not have multiple repeated values. Let's try to print array list. I'll just say for each integer element in my array list, system.out.println element. And let us execute. Am I getting the correct output? Everyone? Is my warning is gone, which is of raw type? Yes, it is gone. Another important point. Please observe into this scenario. Array list is of which type? Integer type. When I have given a call to add, so in the add method, E is considered of which type? E is considered of integer type. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले ही मैंने आपको ये कॉन्सेप्ट सिखाया ना कि अगर आप इंटीजर पास कर रहे हो तो हर मेथड में भी वो इंटीजर करके ही ट्रीट होगा. द वन हु इज सेइंग इंट, प्लीज मेक योरसेल्फ correct as a correct statement. Your statement as correct statement. I hope you have understood why it is integer. ठीक है. If this is an integer, means can I say behind the scene 25 is actually considered as a reference type? Integer as a reference type? 100% true. All right. So, can I say array list is a reference type? Right? Which is holding 5 different references or 5 different NP type values. Perfect. So, अब आपको समझ में आया कि why we say collections always takes reference type of values? All right. Next point. When you are traversing within the for loop, when you are traveling, everyone, please, I'll repeat once again. अगर आप इस वैल्यू को इंटीजर कंसिडर कर रहे हो तो क्लास में ई भी इंटीजर कंसिडर होगा. मेथड में जो ई यूज किया है वो भी इंटीजर कंसिडर होगा. इट मींस जब आप किसी मेथड ऐड 50 को कॉल लिख रहे हो तो ये 50 वैल्यू बैकग्राउंड में इंट कंसिडर होगा कि इंटीजर कंसिडर होगा. बैकग्राउंड में इंटीजर कंसिडर हो रहा है. आर वी ओके? राइट. If you create a array list of type integer, तो जहां जहां पे जो जो मेथड में e रहेगा, can it be of integer type? Because it's a generic type. Perfect. Good. So it will be of a generic type. Next, can I say in the for loop, int element, ये कौन से टाइप का रहेगा? V value type or the reference type? P type or NP type? P type. Perfect. Array list कौन से टाइप का है? NP type. Means can I say P to NP conversion is taking place once again? Or can I say actually आपका जो डेटा है वो NP फॉर्मेट में है और आप उसे int element में कन्वर्ट कर रहे हो. NP to P conversion you are doing it. Right? If you do NP to P, that is nothing but unboxing. Is it getting done automatically? That is auto unboxing. Are the things clear to you, everyone? Is it allowing me duplicate values? Yes. Is it allowing me multiple values? Yes. Is it allowing me unordered values? Yes. So can I say array list is a collection which is unordered, which is basically unsorted. Sorted kabhi bhi nahi rahega. Always it is not sorted. It is basically ordered. Ordered क्यों? क्योंकि मैंने पहले 25 ऐड किया, आउटपुट में भी 25 दिखा. 30 ऐड किया, 30 दिखा. Ordered means the way we inserted values, the sequence is maintained. That's called as ordered sequence. Can I say array list is allowing multiple values? Yes. Array list is also allowing, you can say, repetitive values. Yes. So if you have a requirement that whenever I want ordered set of sequence, multiple values, and it should allow me repeated values, I shall always go for which collection? Array list collection. Okay, everyone. Did you all get up to this point? Someone was saying, can I create array list of object? You can. It will be of any type. Correct. Let us say I'm creating one array list of type. Again, which conversation you're talking about? Conversion. Okay. I'll again come back to this point. Hold on. Let us say I'll take one more example. No worries. One collection, if you understand, it will be easy for me to go for other collection in a faster way. Quickly tell me, in this case, my array list is of which type? Float type. If it is of float type, please tell me P type or NP type. It is NP type. Perfect. Next. Give me a second. Yeah. So I want to add the element. Let us try to first go ahead in printing the data. If I print the array list, will it give me empty list? Yes, of course. I'll try to add the elements. Maybe I'll say 2.3f. al.add 3.3f. al.add 4.3f. al.add 5.3f. What does it mean? It means that you are adding 4 elements in the array list. Now, if I say for each float f inside my array list, I want to print f/t. Let's observe what it is printing. Can you see it's printing the values? Right. But can I say at this moment, this array list is of type float, this f is of type float. Are they both of non-primitive type? तो दो references create हो रहे हैं. Do you all agree? Yes or no? Unnecessarily दो reference create किए तो memory उतना waste जाएगा. Correct? So here what I'm saying, I'm just writing small f. Now please tell me, AL array list is of capital float type, which is of NP type. Inside for loop, you are using small float, which is of which type? Which is of P type. So can I say NP to P conversion is done implicitly by your compiler? If it is done implicitly, if it is done automatically, then that is called as auto unboxing. I hope the things are clear now. Everyone? Right. Now tell me, if I'm passing al.add 8.9, is it allowed? Yes or no? No, it is not allowed. What's the reason behind it? It is because 8.9 is considered as a double value. Have I created my array list of type double? No, so it is not allowing me. I hope the things are okay now. It is saying either you cast the argument to float or you create an array list of type float or a double. I hope this is understood. This is not allowed. It is JavaC error. Are the things okay? Yes or no? How the memory will be allocation? Memory will be allocated in the form of reference type ownCar. So 2.3 will be considered as one reference. So if you try to understand in this scenario, this is your first reference. If you have 4 elements, तो यहाँ पे 4 references are created. And these 4 references are pointing to 4 memory locations. And these 4 values are nothing but these. This is how actually the memory gets allocated. Is it okay? So let us say 1.1, maybe 2.5, maybe 3.5, maybe 4.5. Whatever is the memory which is allocated to 1.1 will be stored at this point. That's how it's called as a reference type. This and this will match. Again, Wherever I'll store 2.5, this and this will match. Wherever I'll go for 3.5, this and this will match. And wherever I'll say the fourth value, this and this will match. And if you say in this case, what is this value? This is nothing but this. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? Are we okay? Right. Next point. Please understand. If I'm saying, someone is saying, while creating the array list, why you have passed is a value as a NP type. What will happen if you pass it as a P type? I'll give you just this int and this int. Right? Listen carefully. Can you please tell me array list, is it a generic class? Right. If it is a generic, do you know the limitation of generic? If the generic class or a method is there, they always go with which type of values? Only the NP type of values. So when you are passing int, is it giving you Javac error, compile time error? Insert dimension to complete the reference type. You cannot do it. Have you understood now why I have passed parameters as capital integer? Is it okay? Perfect. Question यही है कि why to go for NP in generics too? The reason is when you are talking about generics, there are some language features. There are some, you can say things that you have to follow as far as language is concerned. If you say value type, that means they will not have any kind of a reference. Generics never works with a value type. Generic के लिए you need a non-primitive value. It's a language feature. You cannot change that. Every language is having some features and some restrictions. We need to follow it. Okay? Okay, got it. We also use raw type feature irrespective of data types. Yes, you do the raw type features irrespective of the data type, but at that moment, you do not pass anything into the bracket. That's what was the first example. Can you see? Raw type. But when you say raw type, in that case, when you are trying to print, how will you come to know whether it is an int value, whether it is a floating value, whether it is double value or a string value? So you have to pass for loop में object. तो हर time पे आपके compiler को integer to object conversion, string to object conversion, float to object conversion, double to object conversion करना पड़ेगा. Is it a good practice? Obviously no. That's why we should be more specific. Is it okay, Nikhil? Is it okay, Shubhanshu? Perfect. Let's go ahead then. Let us go ahead with one more example. So this was basic first example where we have created array list. I'm putting some, you can say, project headings so that you will understand as far as today's suggestion is concerned. All right. Let us go ahead with another example where we will create an array list from an array. That is point one. And let's try to print array list in different ways. So first thing, I'll go for create an empty array list. Wherever I'll use AL, it indicates it's an array list, correct? So I'll create one array list of type integer. I'll say maybe that's my AL is equal to new array list of type integer. I'll go for java.util and I'll say, let us assume now I'm having some sample data in int format. So I'm using integer data, which is having some elements, maybe 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 50, 55 and 60. Few elements into it. Correct? Next, I want to generate array list from data array. That means I want to add the data array elements into the array list. I'll put a message. I'll just say adding array to array list. One more time. I'll say for integer I in my data array list dot add, I'll say I. Everyone, please tell me, in this case, I is of P type or NP type? P type. ठीक है. Next, if I say in this case, data is also of P type, perfect. Next, array list is of NP type. Do you all agree? Right. So here, is it implicit conversion which is taking place? Yes. Is it auto boxing into integer? Yes or no? Over here, is it auto boxing int to integer? Int to integer. It is auto boxing. Are you okay? Yes or no? Right. Perfect. Next point. First is, can I say after using this for loop, whatever elements are there in the data array are basically stored in the array list? Because I have used those many times add method, I is pointing to individual element. It is getting added in the array list. Do you all agree? Perfect. Now, let us try to print. There are different ways to print the data. I'll just write print the data using for loop that everyone knows. So how I will go for each integer I in my array list system.out.println, I'll just print I and I'll say +/t. Is this line of code is understood by everyone? Once again, my array list is of type integer. I'm representing it int. Then, can you please tell me, is it auto unboxing? Yes. Are we okay? Yes or no? Any doubts so far? Let's try. Am I getting the correct output using the for loop? Perfect. Next, let us observe. I'm saying system.out.println and I am trying to print the array list, which is equal to plus, I'll say AL. Quickly tell me, what is AL? What is AL? It is nothing but array list. Now, when you say I am printing array list, it is nothing but object. When you call object or when you print object, तो कौन सा method call होता है? ToString. When I say behind the scene, ToString method will be called. Right. Let us execute. Check it out. Somewhere I shall put here new line. Can you see I'm getting this output? Yes or no? That means if you just write here array list, behind the scene, ToString method is called implicitly. Check this out. अब अगर आपको ये समझ में आ रहा है तो आप मुझे बता सकते हो क्या कि ToString मेथड array list के यहाँ से कॉल हो रहा है कि ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास में से कॉल हो रहा है? गाइस, array list के क्लास से ही कॉल हो रहा है ना? अगर ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास से कॉल होता था तो वो क्या डिस्प्ले करता था? हैश को डिस्प्ले करता था. आर यू ओके? आर यू रिमेंबरिंग द थिंग्स? Perfect. So this is another way to print the data. Let us try to work with another way, one more way. Printing data using conventional for loop. Conventional for loop means जैसे आप normally for loop use करते हो. That means I'll say for integer I equal to 0, maybe I less then array length dot size function, and I'll say I plus plus. And inside this bracket, I'll just try to print array list dot get I. This is another way. So if you want to go for a conventional for loop, up I equal to 0, al dot size will go up to the array length, the number returns the number of elements, I plus plus will increment its value by 1. You cannot write al of I over here. This is wrong. The reason is al of I तब use कर सकते हो जब आपका वो array रहता है. Is it an array? No, it is an array list. So array list के ऊपर you have a method called as a get method. So when you say get I, get of 0, get of 1, 2, and so on, it is going to get individual element and printing the data. Are you okay with this next for loop? Did you all understand? Everyone. Perfect. Suppose I'm passing I start with 15. Quickly tell me what it should give me in the output. क्या आउटपुट में आना चाहिए? Will it display the elements? Will it give me some error? Will it give me some exception? Or it will give me all the elements and it will ignore this value? Check this out. Can you see it is not printing anything? Ultimately, it is kind of an exception which is occurring into your program. So you should always pass I0 starting with 0 till the size. Have you understood? Perfect. The last way, system.out.println, printing the data using iterator. Now, please listen very carefully. If I'm saying I want to print the elements in my array from some 5th location till the last element, then can I say I'll go for 33 to 34 for loop? यही for loop use कर सकती हूँ. Because index चाहिए, so I have to start index from 5th location till a dot size. Do you all agree? Right. Perfect. But if I'm saying I know I want a complete array list in a single bracket as a list, then will I go for this option, just a 2 string? Perfect, a 1 line of a code. But if I'm saying I want to display each and every element from start till the end, then will I go for a for each loop which works as an iterator? It start from first location, 0th element till the last element. Perfect. Good. So have you understood when to go for which kind of a printing of a data? It's completely based on us. Correct? Now, there is one more statement. There is something called as iterator. So it is completely based on you, whether you want to go for a normal for loop, whether you want to go for conventional for loop, whether you want to go for a 2 string, and sometimes they ask you whether you want to go for a iterator. Now, please listen carefully. If you say, I have a collection of 500 records, correct? So when you say, I just want to traverse within the records from 1 to 500 in a forward direction, I do not want to go in the backward direction. In that case, you will go for the for loop, which you have specified on line 26, or you can use the iterator. You have 2 options. So what is iterator? Let us check. Now, iterable is an interface, right? It is having a method called as iterator. Correct? It returns the iterator over the element type T. What is its return type? Interface iterator. Please observe. Iterator E is a generic element, generic interface. And why it is used for? It's the interface. It iterates over a collection. It takes place of enumeration. Enumeration you will understand at the time of vector. Here, it iterates. This iterator allow the caller to remove the element from the collection during the iteration. You will understand what is fail fast and fail safe, these two conditions gradually. But yes, when you talk about iterator, it is a generic interface. It is used to iterate over a collection. अभी सिर्फ इतना ही ध्यान पे रखो. It is having two methods. Can you see? Has a next and a next. कुछ याद आया? हमने कहीं तो ऐसे methods use किए हैं. Where we have used these types of methods? Something called as string tokenizer class. Do you remember, everyone? Right. If you say string tokenizer, there we have used has more tokens and next token. Similarly, if you are using an iterator, it iterates over the collection. So I will say here, I'll go for a has next method. It returns true if the iteration has more elements. And next element is returning me the next iteration. Are we okay? All right. Now, let us say, in this scenario, to go for an iterator, I have to use one method from the list interface. From this array list, there is one method. So we have seen add method. You can use add all, any collection. We will see that. You can see add at some specific location. But we are now working with iterator. So tell me, iterator method is defined within the array list. So this method is static or non-static? It is non-static. Perfect. If it is a non-static method, then can you please tell me, left side mein, how will I give a call to it? Using object name. So what is my object name? AL, array list, dot iterator. Right? Next, any return type it is having? It is having a return type called as interface. So can I write here iterator of type integer ITR? This is called as attaching an iterator to the list, to the array list or to the collection. जब तक आप किसी भी collection के साथ iterator method call नहीं करते, till that time it will not allow you to generate an iterator. So here for your reference, quickly tell me, capital I wala iterator is what? It's a generic interface. And small I ka iterator is what? It's a method. Are we okay? Can I say this ITR is nothing but a reference of type interface, where it is pointing to the whole collection called as AL. So here I'll say while ITR dot has a next, I just want to print ITR dot next element. Will it print all the elements in my collection? Of course, yes. Till what time? Till then has next element is going to return me a true value. Are we okay? Let us try and check. Is it printing me the last data? I'll just here put some /n and let's check. Printing the data using iterator. Is it printing me the complete data? Yes. Have you all got up to this point different ways of, you can say, performing the printing of array list? Are you okay? Yes or no? Perfect. Now, let us say after this while loop, right? I'm once again writing iterator.next. Check the output. Can you see I'm getting exception? There's an exception. I'll just put here /n so that you will see the exception list. It is saying there is an exception which is saying no such element exception. The reason is when I have tried to check Do I have a next method? Yes. If it is there, it will just print the data. Do I have a next method? Yes, it will print the next data. When it will reach to the last element, and after that, I'm again saying itr.next. So it will throw an exception, no such element exception. Are we okay? From where it is coming? From java.util. Check it out. I'll go to java.util and there is an exception which is called as no such element exception, and see this thrown by various access methods to indicate that the element has been requested does not exist. एक बार iteration हो चुका, उसके बाद it will never go back. That's the reason it will not have any element. So it is not saying, it is saying the same thing. Have you all understood up to this point? Right? Iterator का return type is a generic interface ITR. Check this out. Iterator is a method which is in array list. See this. Iterator method is a non-static method. That's the reason I've given a list dot iterator. And what is its return type? Iterator angular bracket E. Just forget about fail fast and fail safe. We will go ahead with this later on. All right. Please explain iterator again. I've explained iterator. Can you see here? Iterator is a function who is having the return type as a iterator interface. तो क्या मैंने यहाँ पे ITR interface का reference variable बनाया है? Right. I hope you have understood. Reference variable is pointing to the complete collection. And if it is pointing to the complete collection, it is checking whether it is has next, or you can say next element. I hope you have understood. All right. Guys, see this. When you say al.iterator, तो एक्चुअली आपका रेफरेंस कहाँ पे पॉइंट कर रहा है? आपकी पूरी कलेक्शन पे पॉइंट कर रहा है. आपकी कलेक्शन में क्या है? डेटा है. तो वो दैट इज हाउ इट कैन बी यूज्ड. आपने स्ट्रिंग टोकनाइजर यूज किया, उसमें बहुत सारा स्ट्रिंग था. व्हाट इज स्ट्रिंग? इट इज नथिंग बट द डेटा सेपरेटेड बाय सम स्पेस. So what you have seen has next token and the next token same I have used over here. There's no difference when you have used. Is it okay? All right. Guys, array and array list में क्या difference है? I hope you remember the first example that I have taken was an array, a simple array. जब आप array बनाते हो तो it is of primitive type. तो आप primitive type के ऊपर array list के functions नहीं use कर सकते. ये जो सारे methods है वो simple array पे नहीं create कर सकते. जब आप array बनाते हो तो आप array primitive type का बनाते हो. array list नॉन प्रिमिटिव टाइप का बनाते हो. क्यों नॉन प्रिमिटिव का बनाते हो? इज बिकॉज सो दैट आपको एक्सेसिबिलिटी मिलना चाहिए मेथड्स का. आई होप यू आर अवेक सिंस मॉर्निंग. मैंने पहले पहले एग्जांपल इसलिए बेसिक एरे का लिया था, राइट? And after on the verge of completion of array list, if still you ask me what's the difference between array and array list, so you have to be wake up now. You have to wake up. Is it okay, guys? When I'm saying जब आपने string tokenizer यूज किया था, तब आपने string tokenizer कैसे यूज किया था? In your string, you were having multiple things, right? And your tokenizer was trying to point to different strings. Same is the case happening over here. You are saying iterator function. ये क्या करता है? I have shown you the method. Iterator is one function which is basically used to iterate through the collection. right? Check it out. Iterator interface is having two methods, has next and next. Has next returns true if the iteration has more elements. Next returns the element in the iteration. So it means I'll just draw this. I'm painting one data. I have this data. I'm just drawing a rough diagram. This is my array list, which is pointed by AL, right? So this is your AL array list. Right now, when you are saying this reference, this is how it is pointing. This is what is your array list. Now, in your code, you have supplied one iterator. As soon as you're writing this code, correct? So what is happening behind the scene? I have supplied a iterator al.this. When I'm using al.iterator, this method is having a return type as ITR. Now what is ITR? ITR is one reference variable. So what ITR is pointing? ITR is of type integer. Check this out. My array list was also of type integer. My ITR is also of type integer. So when you use a iterator method, it is applied on the AL. What is AL? It is of integer type. So in this case, what is happening behind the scene? Internally, यहाँ का जो reference है, वो यहाँ पे store हो रहा है. So what is this ITR? ITR is basically pointed to the first element of your own. So how the ITR is going ahead? ITR is like one arrow which is internally pointing to your first element. So you can say this is nothing but ITR, which is pointing to 10 element initially. So this is called as supplying or attaching an iterator to your array list. I've used array list.hasNext. Do I have a next element? Yes, I have an element 10. System.out.println itr.next. It is going to print 10. Again, do I have a next element? Yes, it will print the next element. Next element, it will go up to end. It means once I'll reach to 60, it will print the 60 element. Now I'm saying while itr.hasNext, do I have a next element? No, it will just come out of this while loop. But if you come out of the while loop and if you still say wherever my iterator is pointing, print the next element. Do I have a method over here? Or do I have a data over here? No. So it is going to print no such element method exception. I hope now the things are clear. Are you okay? Are you satisfied now? You just have to remember iterator अगर आपने small use किया है, it is a method, and iterator capital use किया है, it is a interface. ठीक है? I hope the things are okay. Correct. Shall we first take a break now? All right. So I'll just go to everyone. Please tell me, iterable is also one interface, java.lang. Iterator is also one interface in java.util. Iterable is object for each loop. Iterator is basically used to iterate over the collection. There are two things. One is iterator, another is iterable. So I'll just copy this so that you will not forget. Iterable. It is the interface in java.lang package. And iterator is an interface in java.util package. That is another point. When you're using iterable, In that case, you do not have anything like next iterator and so on. Here you have for each. This allows an object to be the target for each loop. मतलब अगर आप background में for each loop use कर रहे हो तो inside in the background this interface works. But when you see iterator, when it gets called, it is basically called when you are using has next and next element. These are the two methods which are used. But when it is used, it is basically an iterator over a collection. अभी कुछ समझ में आया? Everyone, हमें अगर collection के ऊपर iteration करना है तो हम iterator method कॉल करते हैं और has next and next element यूज करते हैं. I'll save this. Iterable and iterator. तो जब आप for each loop यूज कर रहे थे तब background में आपका iterable work होता है. Have you ever tried? In case of for each loop also, it traverses in one direction till your n minus 1. Do you remember? I've explained many other times. Right? But when you say primitive or non-primitive values to be printed, for each loop आप use करते हो तो background में java.lang package का iterable call होता है. But when you want to traverse within the complete collection, then iterator call होता है. Are we okay? Is the differences clear to you, everyone? Perfect. So, shall we first take a break? I hope you have understood whatever I've explained since morning.